8:07, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. So as much as we talk about national politics and everything else and really how terrible other parts of the nation are, we live in a great state, and I try to, on a daily basis, highlight how good we have it here in Tennessee. That's why I asked Stuart McWhorter back to the program, Commissioner of Economic and Community Development. Stuart, as always, thanks for coming in to Nashville's Morning News. And I know that I am one of thousands, maybe millions, whatever, of people that were stuck in the traffic at BNA while all of those improvements were going on. $247 million worth of renovations, I guess, at BNA. So talk a little bit about that. I guess it's finally done, but let's be honest. Is it ever done at BNA?
Well, good morning, Dan. Thanks. I appreciate you having me back. So BNA is just an amazing asset in our state. It's not just a Nashville, Middle Tennessee asset. It's the statewide, pretty much, honestly, regionally. Think about 8 states that border us. They run the statistics, but we see passenger flow coming from all over the Southeast because it's just a growing, airport. There's a lot of dailies coming out. They're 54 gates now. They're going to scale this up over time to something much larger. I think they're talking about almost tripling that over the next, 5 to 10 years.
Do you think BNA could ever get to be as big as Atlanta's airport?
I would, I guess just given the growth of this region, possibly.
Many years from now.
I'm from Atlanta. I grew up in Atlanta, and I don't like going through Atlanta that much.
Oh, it's horrible.
It's bad. I don't want us to become it from that perspective, but Doug Crulin and his entire staff that run the airport is just, they're an A-plus team. They're just doing a fantastic job managing all this. They're investing over $4 billion, over this kind of 10 to 12 year period. This dates back to, I think, 2017 is when this in multiple stages.
Yes.
But as you know, we were out a week or so ago and doing the expansion of Concourse D, and that was great. A beautiful part of Concourse D now up and running. They're increasing, 25 million passengers a year. They're looking at 40 million over the next, several years ahead.
How do you decide? I'm fascinated by this stuff. How do you decide what to do, what to expand, what needs to happen with the airport?
Well, I mean, I think that's largely driven by Doug and his team and the Airport Authority. And they have a strategic plan in place. They've had strategic plans in places, for decades to sort of build out long-term strategies, how to finance it. And as a state, we support a lot of what the airport does, particularly with us. Our role mostly is helping them attract for international flights because we do a lot of recruiting internationally all over the globe. Obviously, starting with British Airways, to London, and, that's continuing to grow. We have Iceland, we have Ireland.
You just added Iceland.
We did,
I think, didn't you?
And Ireland, and Dublin. Yeah.
So if somebody went, isn't that where they have the lights? In Iceland, is that where the Northern Lights, is that
Iceland?
Iceland?
I don't know. It is. Yeah. I'm getting my fact checker over here saying it is.
we're like, why did I go down this road? I don't know. All right, well, very good. And I personally, I think that a lot of people complain about, BNA and, all the expansion, how it's messing up, traffic and so on. But it really is to the benefit of the state to have an airport that can handle all that business, particularly overseas, because we are trying to grow and recruit business for the state of Tennessee.
That's right. Yeah, and like I said, it's one of the greatest economic development tools that we have is the airport. Companies want to know, generally speaking, they want to be within an hour's drive of BNA. So you think about that radius and what that looks like. All the communities benefit as a result of that. But even beyond 1 hour, I mean, it still plays into it. We're doing a lot of work in Oak Ridge because of the nuclear, initiatives of ours, and that plays into their decisions. Oak Ridge is not an hour's drive; it's more than that. But folks are coming in from all over the world to get to Oak Ridge for the work that's being done, and so that becomes a huge asset for us. And one thing, this is interesting. We talk about this, so. We compete with Georgia on a lot of projects, and they'll talk about the Atlanta airport, and we'll say, okay, let's talk about that. Where you're going to set up, you might be looking to set up in North Georgia, or an hour within an hour's drive of Atlanta. think about how long would it take you to get in your car, drive to Atlanta airport, get parked, get through security. Think about all of that versus being right here at BNA. You can take a Delta flight to Atlanta. You're already in, and you're going to get to wherever you want to get to. Anyway, it's faster and more economical to even start from Nashville and not mess with that driving and the traffic to get to Atlanta.
The traffic in Atlanta, and I'm not saying anything that you don't know, anybody else doesn't know either. The traffic in Atlanta is prohibitive.
It is.
And so I think when you're selling the resume of Nashville and Tennessee, what is the top like 2 or 3 bullet points?
Well, I mean, part of it is for us is we're a no income tax state. That's a big deal. Georgia obviously is. But I think part of it for us is that, we have invested as a state over decades, investment in workforce development. We have said, and the governor says this all the time, the states with the workers are the states that will win. But we're also thoughtful about the types of companies that, are here and want to come here because we look at, there's about 10 clusters, industry clusters that make up a bulk of what we do across the state. So we look at these businesses and where you see they come in, they're going to invest, hire Tennesseans, but we also see the value in them partnering, being customers to other like businesses in our state. That's value to them as well. So we look at all of that. But ultimately, at the end of the day, I think it's about, the quality of life, the cost of living, having access to a workforce, knowing that there's educational and training assets and institutions in our state that are receiving the dollars and the funding and the support to continue to increase the ability to upskill and train a workforce. And that's a big deal to these companies making, billions of dollars of investment in our state.
Oh, yeah. You've got to have a friendly environment for investment and growth.
That's it.
CNBC came out, I think it was just today.
Yep.
America's top states for business in 2025. How did Tennessee fare? Going to find out coming up. It is 8:15, Nashville's Morning News. Time to check the roads on WTN.
So now people are going to
It's 8:15. Nashville's. We have way too much fun in here. 8:15 on Nashville's Morning News. As far as your weather, high of 92, scattered thunderstorms as well. So we came in at number 8 in this list that was just released this year, America's Top States for Business 2025. We came in 8th. I think that's obviously good. Top 10 is always great.
Sure.
And what do they base that on?
Yeah, it looks like I haven't been able to really dig into it too much because it did literally just come out. But there's a variety of factors. I think it's based on like some 2,500 point, system, and it's CNBC, and so it's their survey across a variety of factors. It's the economy, it's workforce, it's innovation and technology, it's quality of life. They're looking at business friendliness. So across all these different.
Interestingly enough, and we mentioned this off the air, but Tennessee came in last in quality of life.
Yeah.
I'm calling BS on that.
Yeah.
I've lived all across the country because I work in radio and I can't keep a job. And I find this has been the best quality of life that I've ever had. So do you know how they come up with Tennessee being last in quality of life?
That's a little puzzling to me as well. I definitely want to look at what they're utilizing for their.
I think it's political.
How they score it.
I'm just going to tell you. You don't have to comment on this.
Okay.
I think it's political.
Okay.
That's what I think. All right. Can we talk just along those same lines, real quickly? Can we talk about the development of nuclear energy?
Yeah.
Because I had Governor Lee on the last time I was able to get him on, and he and I talked about nuclear energy and Tennessee and everything that we're trying to do to expand nuclear energy in our state. How much are we investing in this, and what good is it for the state of Tennessee?
Sure.
Because some people say, why do we need nuclear energy? I think it's great.
Yeah. Well, so a few years ago, the governor led, I believe, across all states in terms of new nuclear and states taking advantage of this new technology called new nuclear and the need to generate additional, more reliable and more cost-effective power and energy. And so nuclear is one of those, long-term investments that we believe is the future. It's one component of many of how to generate power, but that's clearly one that will generate a lot of power as we continue to grow as a state, as we continue to grow as a country. You hear President Trump talk about energy independence. I think these are all the things that we're looking at doing. So what happened was a few years ago, the governor set forth two things. One, he created a nuclear energy advisory council, made up of private sector folks with a lot of knowledge and understanding of the technologies in the industry to advise on the state's strategy of how we could support that industry. And then we set aside some state dollars to invest in companies that were willing to come to our state, invest in nuclear. And it's along the same, it's what we do as a department. We provide incentives. So we're doing two things there. And we've been able to, we've announced one of the largest announcements we made as a state was a company called Orano. It's a uranium enrichment company that's going to come to Oak Ridge and build a $4.5 billion facility right there at Oak Ridge. And so that's just a result of the work that we're doing around that and why it's so important that we attract these companies in the ecosystem.
Are we talking about, because I know that there's the big reactors and all that, and then there's the small modular reactors.
That's right.
Are we investing in the small modular reactors as well?
Yeah, I think it's there's a lot of the micro and modular reactors. That's that new nuclear technology that's out there. That's not it's not what you consider the old nuclear plants that
3 Mile Island
correct.
And all that.
Yeah, this is proven technology. Mm-hmm. The challenge with that is that technology is being developed. It's a very expensive technology, and that's something that likely won't be in place for another 5 or 10 years. So the question is, what do you do? What strategies need to take place to sort of bridge that generation of power gap that exists? And those are things that TVA is working on, talking about. As you know, TVA is our power provider here, a federal agency, but a power provider in our state. We're one of 7 states, I believe, that are part of the TVA footprint.
TVA, of course, anybody who listens to this show knows that there's been some controversy regarding the TVA and them wanting to build some sort of a facility in Cheatham County.
Right.
John Rich has been on this show and the station several times to talk about this. I know that really, because they're a federal agency, you folks don't really have anything to do with that. But how do they make the choice as to where some of these facilities go? Because when John Rich was on the show, he said, there's other facilities that they can either upgrade or they can reopen. But, they want to stick it right there in the middle of Cheatham County.
Right. Yeah, obviously that's a TVA strategic choice of locations and how they want to roll out things like gas plants and which is a result of generation of power, the gas power. They've had for years now, they've been shutting down coal plants. And now there's this thought that maybe coal plants, some of those, the ones that aren't shut down, shouldn't shut down. It's changed over the last year or so about how to think about base load and power generation. So I would just say, we're not part of the Cheatham County decision, but I would say, regardless of where that goes, if the need for additional power generation, the belief is that natural gas is clearly a bridge to that. Yep. Ultimately, we think nuclear is the answer, but there's got to be a bridge. Gas and coal is a bridge to that. And we believe if we're going to be competitive as a state, and we're having conversations with all these businesses that are looking at investing billions of dollars in our state, they have a power requirement of so many megawatts. If TVA, when I say we, collectively can't provide an option for that power generation for these projects, we're going to lose those projects. And it's not, it's not necessarily all about trying to attract as much of that CapEx as we can, because we're going to be thoughtful about the types of businesses that come. But if we're not planning for the future and figuring out that bridge, then ultimately over time we're going to be finding ourselves. We were talking about top 10. We won't even be in the top 20 if we can't address that, no matter where it is.
Yeah. And one of the things that I know that we have the IRIS grant.
We do.
And I was reading about this. Is what I do on the weekends, is read about this wonky stuff. and what the IRIS grant does is essentially you are encouraging research and development to come here to Tennessee. Talk about that.
Sure. Yeah. It's so we're excited about this. And a lot of this is really my private sector background, investing in early stage innovative companies. So we recognized a few years ago that in the state of Tennessee, there's companies, corporate spend and research and development is not where it should be. We see an opportunity to get a lot of these global brands in our state to invest their research and development dollars in our state with our research partners, such as the University of Tennessee, Vanderbilt, all the higher ed institutions, Oak Ridge, Arnold Air Force Base. I mean, we've got such great research and development assets. And so the question we have to these global brands is, where do you spend your dollars on R&D? Where do you do it? And why not here? And if why not here, what can we do to help you make that decision to invest those dollars here? So IRIS is, the state flower. And it's an acronym for, innovation and research and development. But the opportunity is that we want to provide some support for these companies, these corporate R&D spend dollars to be in our state. And we believe this is a way to sort of seed that and get that going. We're not going to be supporting this forever, but we got to get it started somehow. And so this is our way of doing that. The governor and the legislature was very supportive of this initiative of ours, and we're just now rolling it out.
So I got a question, and maybe it's going to be uncomfortable. When you ask a company or whatever why they don't come to Tennessee, what do they say, and how are we fixing that?
Well, let's go back to the power talk discussion. I mean, some of these companies that are coming in more recently are coming in really driven mostly around their capital investment and the need for power. It's either advanced manufacturing, and what that basically equates to is you've got, highly automated systems coming into a plant on manufacturing. It's robotics, it's AI. And it's requiring a lot of energy to run that on a pretty much continuous basis. So you have companies coming in saying we need 50 megawatts now and 100 megawatts in 5 years, and that becomes the rub a little bit with the TVA discussion. It's like, can they deliver, and when can they deliver that? You have this massive demand now in these data centers.
Yep.
And the AI. AI. Yep. And that all requires a significant amount of power. You have the crypto, Bitcoin mining operations that require a significant amount of power. So that does drive a lot of decisions. And what it comes down to, it's not whether or not TVA can provide that. They can if there's a schedule. Most of these companies are making decisions, and they need to know in the next 12 to 24 months, is a site ready and is the power there?
Yeah.
And that's tough. And there's some states that are willing to invest state dollars to set that up, or they have, publicly traded companies that have access to, capital that can make those investments on the front end. TVA doesn't have that ability necessarily, being a federal agency. They have a debt limit. There's only so much that they can utilize off their balance sheet. And so that really does become one of, not the only, but that becomes one of the discussions where we find ourselves not winning a project. Outside of that, quite frankly, we feel our batting average on the projects that we really want, we think make a lot of sense for our state. We do really well on. We get the ones we want, and the ones that we don't think fit for a variety of reasons, we love to have these other states take them.
Interesting. All right, how can people get more information on what the state's doing? Are you on Twitter? Is there a website?
Yeah, we have our website. It's tnecd.com. We have lots of information on there. We're on all the social platforms.
All right. Stuart McWhorter, appreciate you coming in, Commissioner of Economic and Community Development. Hope you'll come back and
Thanks,
have
Dan.
a great
Appreciate
rest of week. All right. It is 8:26 on Super Talk 99.7. And Joan Jones, what's coming up in the news?
Well, the death toll in Central Texas flooding stands at 119. We've got an update here on the increasing scrutiny over how the response was taken about. Also, Congress taking action, but they're taking action on shark attacks. We'll explain. That's coming up here at 8:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
8:39, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning to you. It is time for the crisscross handoff. I'm Dan, that's Chris, and Joan is over there. KGB is across the glass, and good morning to all of you.
Let's go. Today's going to be a good day. Can you feel it?
Well, today has been a good day. I think it's been a fairly decent show. I had a couple of minor train wrecks, but they were only minor train wrecks.
We'll take it.
Listen, at my age, a minor train wreck is a good thing.
That's pretty much a success.
That is exactly right. And by the way, it's a big day for you and I.
Yeah?
Because later on today, I can't believe that's what you're wearing.
I don't know why you're getting on me about this.
Later on today, Joan.
What's he wearing?
He is.
It's a thermal.
You know what? You look like Fetterman, and we're going to be
Oh my gosh.
filming our very first podcast today. Chris and I. It is
Are you going to
mostly
control what he wears?
mostly peaceful with Dan and Chris.
I'm gonna open it up with good night, good morning.
Is that what you're going to do?
Yeah.
There you go.
Go full
Very good.
Fetterman for everybody.
I'm just kidding. We're really actually looking forward to this. It's been like months that we've been
Yes.
trying to actually do this.
Dan's going to pull a DiPietro and tell him what to wear for the podcast coming up.
That's what I'll do. I'll just do the what to wear. What the hell are you wearing thing though?
Yeah.
What are those?
What are those?
So anyway, Baby Shark. So when Joan is I don't know why that was deemed as insensitive. Somebody told me to stop being an AWS.
Oh,
Yeah.
Because
I told
because you
Joan-
suggested playing Baby Shark.
Yeah,
As people are being
when
attacked by sharks.
when she does the thing, the story.
Are people being attacked by sharks big time?
I guess they're higher.
it's
they're going,
summertime. Listen,
up.
it's summertime. There's more people in the water. There's going to be more attacks.
Listen, if they did an entire movie on shark attacks, I can make a joke about Baby Shark,
It's true.
right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Right.
Thank you, Joan.
And if they did it with a fake shark, I mean, honestly.
It's exactly
so,
right.
So someone just got their arm bitten off, and also they're hearing baby shark. They're not going to want to throw with that other hand.
Imagine if the ambulance showed
You know
up
what?
and that was the siren.
Oh, God.
I don't want to say what I'm going to say. Should I say what I want to say?
Do it.
All right, listen. If somebody is that angry that their arm has been bitten off and they're mad that Baby Shark is playing, then they can grab the arm and beat me with it.
Wow.
I see. That's terrible. I
That's
should
a
have
challenge.
Oh, that's
I
a
shouldn't have said
nasty
that.
one. That's
I shouldn't
nasty.
have said that. That's my bad. I keep hitting. You ever do this?
No,
Hit the microphone with your hat.
I don't.
Keep doing that. That's the kind of day it's been.
It's just a minor train wreck.
So, just a minor, only minor train wrecks today. But there's still plenty of time to train wrecks, as I like to say.
I feel like the fact that we live in a landlocked state should give us a green light on shark jokes.
That's a great point, Chris.
Yeah.
Chris, have you seen Sharknado? Anything can happen.
This is true.
Those were great movies.
I
Sharknadoes.
never watched
You never
Sharknado.
watched the
I've
one?
never
No.
Joan, it's right up there with War of the Gargantuas.
I wanted to watch Cocaine Bear, but I never got around to that either.
That one
No.
looked good. That
Was it
actually looked-
good?
I had seen it, and it is pretty good. I did enjoy it because they knew it was a joke, but they didn't make it like over the top. Like, no, it's a joke. It was very. Do you?
It was done classy.
Yeah,
as
in a way.
classy as you can
have
do
you
a
seen
Cocaine
Tucker
Bear
and
movie.
Dale versus Evil?
No.
Oh, okay. If you've seen that, it's just like that.
Okay.
Another great like kind of comedy horror movie.
All right.
24/7 says that she was bitten by a shark and
Oh.
says that I'll be down there in 15 minutes. Will you show me your scar? I
I'll be down there in 15 minutes.
just want to see the scar, man.
Seeing
That's all I want.
Dan get his ass kicked by a shark survivor.
He'll be gone
would
in
pretty
15
funny.
minutes.
Listen, if somebody survived the shark bite, they could probably kick my butt.
Yeah.
So no problem whatsoever. Anyway, do we have anything actually for this bit? Or have we just...
Did you hear Jackie Heinrich got engaged? Fox News' reporter.
She did?
Yeah.
To
No.
whom?
She got engaged to Pennsylvania Republican congressional rep Brian Fitzpatrick.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay, so he's 51, she's 36. Is that too big of an age gap?
She's in her
36 and
late
51.
30s.
15 years?
Caroline Levitt's husband is much older than her, too.
Well, my wife is 17 years my junior. What are you saying? What are you saying, Junior?
It's only
Grabbing the
Okay,
cradle, Dan.
Here it is.
Hubba,
It's
hubba.
only weird. I think it gets weird if they're in their early 20s and they're in their 40s.
Listen, first of all, I'm not robbing the cradle. She was robbing the rocking chair. Is what she was. You know, that would have been good had I not shanked the line. But she was
It's a
robbing the
minor
rocking
train
chair.
wreck.
Minor train wreck.
I think once you get older, though, the age gap doesn't matter more and more. But
Well-
See, I feel like the older you get, the more it matters.
really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They got
Chris is,
engaged.
At a
Chris is
certain
right,
point,
actually.
you're going to be 80.
Mhm.
And then, you know what happens. You're getting the Depends on
Well, she'll be putting the depends on me.
Yeah.
Is what's going to happen.
and taking them off.
Listen, just so we're. I hope
He's
so.
never been married before. How about that?
Who's never been married before?
He hasn't.
The Republican rep out of Pennsylvania?
Yeah.
It's a little
As
weird.
far as I can tell.
51?
It's a little weird.
Yeah.
That's not weird.
It's not weird.
Congratulate him. He doesn't have any alimony to pay. He's got no child support. I mean, come on.
He's a unicorn,
That's exactly right.
especially when it comes to Congress.
They got engaged in a lavender field. Isn't that sweet?
That's a little.
Thought it was so dumb.
a lavender field.
Yeah.
It was so cheesy in like the photos. It's
I
like just
love
a
it.
stupid amount of lavender.
Oh, stop it, you people.
It's so cute.
Like-
Joan.
She knew
Well-
she knew it was coming. You don't just go to a lavender field for no reason.
Right.
And they bought a $1.5 million home.
Well, that too.
Which what's that, like a 2-bedroom apartment in DC?
Yeah.
People in the text line are saying like they have wives and husbands that are 17 up to 17 years is what I saw. That's the
Really?
biggest gap I've seen.
It just feels like a big
There's
gap to
$1.5
me.
million in Washington, D.C. That's a shack.
so just,
Yeah, exactly.
So just so we're clear,
There's
yes,
holes in the bathtub.
Yeah.
Oh,
well done.
Thank God Zintex isn't coming up. Lord.
So yes, 2805. Amy is 17 years younger than me. I am serious. Do you know what I thought about was, when I'm
You're
ready
like,
to,
this is a huge win. I better not screw it up.
when I'm ready to retire, she's going to support me in my old age.
There you go.
That's not a problem.
Either that or she'll leave you for a younger man.
Oh,
Jeez. Yeah, I don't know. Have you had that talk yet? Like once he retired, is she gonna?
Poor Dan.
Yeah, we have.
Sorry.
If you're watching on the stream, Dan's
I didn't-
face, it was
I
like
didn't mean
So-
it.
Dan's
there was
face
like
dropped.
it was just like a wave of pain.
I'm sorry.
A
No.
wave of not full of sharks.
Something happened on the 4th of July weekend.
Oh,
it was
no.
really funny.
Oh, no.
Amy and I are walking down Broadway, right?
Oh, it's not the meme where the guy looks behind, right? But
So we're walking down. Now, Amy is quite fetching. I'm just going to say, Amy is fetching.
I kind of think I know what the story is.
So we're not holding hands. We're not doing anything. We are trying to get to see Dierks Bentley way up there and get through this mass of people. So we're walking. There's this young, studly looking guy, some bar guy.
some
And-
stud muffin.
Some stud muffin. And he looks Amy up and down. He's looking at Amy like big time. So you know what I did? It'd be funny if he was listening right now.
Did you lay a big kiss on her?
No, I put my arm around her and I gave him a little head nod. How you doing, buddy? Yeah, this is my wife. You're absolutely right. I might look like a slightly portly bald troll to you, but I'm the husband of this gorgeous woman over here. It's exactly right. That's
He
what I
said-
did.
That was a lot better than what I thought it was.
He was thinking it's so sweet that she's out with her dad.
That's what I thought it was. I thought that was exactly the same thing.
You guys suck.
I thought he was going
I
to flirt
couldn't
with
help
her.
it. I couldn't help it.
I thought he was going to flirt with her, and then, like, he thinks you're the dad. I swear to God, that's my
I thought that's where you were
mindset.
going.
I thought that's where you were going.
Joan, is that where you thought I was
It felt
going
like
to?
that's what you were setting up.
I just thought that there was going to be like a throwdown of,
A throwdown?
angry Dan.
No.
No.
I don't
wouldn't.
get angry.
No way.
Nobody wants to see Dan when he's angry.
Yeah.
Do you get angry, Dan?
Turns into John Belushi.
Not really.
Yes, you've gotten angry.
When? When have I name in the?
I've seen you angry.
There's that time when Chris Hand said, "Without evidence." Did I get angry? Have you seen me get angry? Really?
Yeah.
About what?
I remember that time where there was a certain publication called you out for spreading fake news. You were very upset about it. Do you remember that?
Which one?
No.
You don't remember when Barrett Media wrote that piece?
Oh, I remember that.
And then you said they put me down as spreading fake news, but if you read it, I was right.
I don't remember that.
You don't
That is
remember that?
I
No.
remember you getting heated off air about it.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
what was it
remember that.
about? Like,
It was, what was it about? Oh, it was about Tucker Carlson gaining a bigger audience after he left Fox News.
oh, that.
And you said he is going to gain a bigger audience after Fox News, and they were like, after a review, we found out that Dan was pushing fake news, and you were like, he had the biggest interview with the president and blew out the Republican primaries. What are you talking about?
And here's the other thing. I don't know why we're doing this, but it was an opinion. I wasn't spreading fake news.
Right.
It was like an opinion.
That
Like,
was
I
an
think what's going to happen.
I would just like to point out for the audience, you can feel the anger rising in Dan.
You know what? The anger that I get, the higher my voice goes. Anybody ever notice that? Anyway,
So 36-51, not a big deal?
1744 says I
Yeah.
called him an a-hole. You got mad at me once and called me an a-hole.
Probably on the super text line.
Yeah, that makes sense. That tracks.
I'm wondering what he said to. I wonder what he said for me to call him an a-hole. Because I try to be nice to the people on the super text line, and so somebody's got to say something really mean for me to call him an a-hole. So hey, 1744, what did you say to? Because clearly, I think if I called him an a-hole, I think that he deserved it.
Oh yeah,
I already know.
It was justified.
Facts matter.
Facts matter.
Barrett Media, get on it.
Yeah, I'm wondering what I'm actually wondering what. Oh, yeah. Okay. Now people are bringing up things like 6806. I remember Dan got mad when they let Johnny go. Absolutely, I was mad.
It's true.
Boy, you should have seen me off the air. Moving right along. Hey, what's coming up?
When, Dan?
After 9.
Okay, I was waiting for the news tease bet. I didn't know if you were going to hit that or not. Well, we're going to talk about the Trump economy. Have you seen Trump's approval rating has fallen 2 days in a row over the 5 days? Have you seen that?
No.
I think it's directly tied to Epstein, personally. We'll talk. Well, I do. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about, John Brennan and James Comey.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that they're announcing this at that time to kind of get a little bit of the heat off of them because of the Epstein stuff?
Well, that's what I said yesterday.
Yeah.
I said that yesterday. I feel like this is a diversionary tactic. And I think that, they know that they shanked it. They know that they shanked it.
Yep.
So... Yeah,
We'll talk about all that and more.
All right, very good. So Trump's approval rating is indeed down?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I'm seeing.
He's got a younger wife.
Yeah, he certainly does.
Oof.
What's their age difference?
Trump and Melania? I don't know.
It's like 20 years, right?
Is
she's
it
in her 50s. He's 78.
Joan, can you Google that real quick?
Yep, I'm doing it.
I gotta say,
You knew she was doing it.
this show, every time with the crisscross, you strap in means you have no idea where this conversation's going to go. I did not expect it to go like this.
24 years.
24 years. There you go. Hey, did you want to see a picture of my hydrangeas?
I don't.
Because I'll send them to you.
An unsolicited picture?
Yeah.
Are they
unsolicited pictures?
I get them in the afternoon.
I've been sending unsolicited pictures to Joan of my hydrangeas.
Are they coming in?
They're starting to bloom.
There you go.
Just what I've always wanted.
My blooming flowers.
Just wait until they're full.
8:52, Joan was coming up.
You know what happens after they're full, though?
What?
You cut them off. That's how you make them grow next year.
Oh, my
Okay,
gosh.
Gosh, you people. The Secret Service suspends a handful of agents, and we'll tell you where Tennessee ranks on a list of business-friendly states. Those stories and more coming up here at 9 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.